Hey guys, what is up? It's been a minute since I have made a movie review. It's been a crazy week. If you're on Twitter, I think you know what I'm talking about. Regardless of anything, I am here to talk about What If, the new Marvel Studios series that came out starting today. Let's talk about episode 1. So in life, we ask all sorts of questions. What if I was 6'1"? I am 6'1". What if I was an American? What if I had never asked that girl out and possibly gotten cheated on? Oh, you're still here. My bad. And it's perfectly normal to reimagine these things in your mind. And this is what this Marvel series plays on. Now, actually, What If was a comic book series that reimagined things that had happened in the main Marvel Comics timeline. And there were all sorts of stories in there. One of the most famous being What If Captain America was a Hydra agent. And it was so interesting. It's a very good comic book series that you should go and check out if you do have the time. But this pretty much ties into the MCU and reimagines every single Marvel Cinematic Universe movie and event that took place. Now, due to its animated nature, a lot of people actually believe that What If is not part of the general MCU or MCU canon as we know it to be. I think it is, and this is the reason why, and I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler, so if you don't mind, you can stick around. If you want to skip the spoiler, you can skip to this timestamp and I will continue from there. But this is the reason why. Now, What If was released right after Loki, and at the very end of the Loki series, we see He Who Remains, played by Jonathan Majors, who is also going to be playing Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, getting killed by Sylvie, or the Lady Loki variant. Now, prior to his death, we did see the timeline breaking off into fragments and branches, or branch realities. Now, we have seen branch realities before, especially when you look at Avengers Endgame with the interaction between the Hulk or Bruce Banner and the Ancient One when he was trying to retrieve the Time Stone from her. Now, due to the creation of these branch realities, it's not so far off to think that What If is set in one of these branch realities, because it's very closely tied to what happens in the main timeline, but with a lot of variations. Also, one thing I have to say is, despite the fact that it is something I believe contributes to the canon of the MCU, it's the one that most probably a lot of people might find as loosely tied and probably not affecting because of this animated nature, like I said, and because of so many things that happen very differently from what we knew in the movies. So this nature allows it for it to be non-spoilerish in a sense. It's a little easier to watch it and not even think it's tied directly to the MCU, even though I think it really is. Now, I need to say this: if you keep up with Marvel and you have skipped over or deliberately skipped over the series that they've put out this year, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, because a lot of these series have set up a lot of things that are going to happen in the MCU. So we've seen WandaVision set up Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We've seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier set up either Secret Invasion or Dark Avengers. We've seen Black Widow do the same thing, as well as setting up Hawkeye because of what happens in the post-credit scene, which I keep insisting you should never skip. And then we have Loki, I think, setting up Secret Invasion, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and its own season 2. So yeah, just don't do yourself that disservice. Do catch up as quickly as you can, because things are going to get crazy. And if you especially want to see Shang-Chi that comes out at the beginning of next month, you should really pay attention to what they're doing. They're doing some of the best work I've seen them do in recent memory. Now, going back to its animated nature, I love what they did with the Marvel Studios intro. Now, we have seen them do all sorts of things, especially with the Avengers Endgame first trailer. We saw the dusting of the Marvel Studios sign. In Loki, we saw a bit of a green and gold hue over the sign. And in this series, there's a bit of a wipe or paint wipe that suggests that yes, this is very much animated. I love that attention to detail that they put into this. Now, this very first episode reimagines the events of Captain America, the First Avenger, and this is the origin story of Steve Rogers as Captain America. But due to one decision that is made that you will see, it leads up to Peggy Carter becoming Captain Britain. Now, this episode is 30 minutes long. It's a very fast-paced episode, and I really understand, because by now you should be very familiar with the events of that movie, and it reimagines a lot of the things that go on, and it's really great because there's a lot of parallels as well. So you know that, okay, where this happened, there's a bit of a variation. This actually happens instead. They really did well with determining what path they wanted to take. Hayley Atwell returns to reprise her role as Peggy Carter. Now, not every actor that we've known in the MCU comes back to reply. I keep telling you guys, this job can be something sometimes. Replies. Let me take that again. A lot of the actors that we've known in the MCU as certain characters do not return to reprise their role. So Dave Bautista does not come back as Drax the Destroyer. Tony Stark or Robert Downey Jr. See, I confuse them. It's so hard to tell them apart these days. Robert Downey Jr. does not come back to reprise his role as Iron Man, but Chadwick Boseman actually comes back, not from... No, I can't be making jokes like that. Rest his soul. Chadwick Boseman actually voiced 4 of the episodes that his character of T'Challa appears in this series. And keep resting, man. We miss you. Even though you kind of know that, okay, this is a variation of what we've really been emotionally attached to, there is still some heartstring tugging that goes on with the events of this first What If episode. And it's so interesting. Like, you are so invested as a fan, especially, that you can't help but feel some emotional attachment to what goes on in this episode. And this is why I love Marvel for doing what they do. Now, even though the ending is somewhat different from what we knew in the movies, it still has a bit of a similar ending. As I used ending twice, but you get me. This is what I was saying with the parallels of what happens in the movies and drawing those with the series as well. And we are going to get a lot more episodes like this. We are going to get one episode with a zombie Captain America. We are going to get What If T'Challa was Star-Lord, and that episode I believe is going to be one of the funniest ones you should look out for. There's going to be an episode where Killmonger saves Tony Stark in the Arabian desert at the beginning of Iron Man 1, or what we know it to be. And I'm really excited. Now, I know I haven't reviewed Suicide Squad yet. I am just about getting to it. There's been a lot going on this week, like I've said. But I will have that review up on the channel sometime tomorrow, I hope. But yeah, do stick around for that review tomorrow. Expect me more of the week to come up on Friday. And thanks so much, guys, for watching. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, if you have seen it yet, if you plan to see it yet. And I will see you guys in another video very soon. You take care. I am the Dark Man, and I'm out.